Hi everyone. I wanted to give you guys the Hi everyone. I wanted to talk a little bit about my writing process and what I learned in my years of college. Now, I'm going to talk a little fast because I just tried to make this video and I maxed out at 15 minutes and nobody wants to watch me do like a 30-minute video. So, I went to college. I was an adult. I didn't go straight after high school. I was raising a bipolar foster child. I was taking care of my grandmother who was dying, and I was working while I was going to college. So I learned a lot about writing a paper that was the best possible paper I could write in the least amount of time. And I want to give you the tips that I learned over the years for doing that, because I know you guys are busy. A lot of you are soldiers. A lot of you are working. You're in the military. You're in police field, Homeland Security, or you're just trying to take care of families and work, and you're civilians and you don't want to waste a whole lot of time. So doing a lot of free writing, things like that, can really just take a lot of time that won't necessarily help you. So what I'm going to say is what you want to do is do your research first. Always do your research first, because a paper, almost all the papers that you do that you write in college are going to be based on some research. And if you start writing and then you start doing research and it doesn't really fit in with your writing, you've just wasted a ton of time. And nobody wants to write 300, 400, 500 words and then find out that they just have to toss them and start over from the beginning. So always do your research first. So I'm going to just bring up the school library. Use the school library even if you don't have to. It has so much information here that you would have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to access if you were using the open web. And we pay for it for you guys. It's part of your tuition. So you're paying for this already through your tuition, or the military's paying, or your job's paying. So take advantage of this. I use the topic medical marijuana because, if we're being honest, this is the single largest used topic in the class. In the past 10 years or so that I've been teaching here, I've read more papers about medical marijuana than anything else. So that's where my head went. I brought it up. I chose available online because you want something online, and peer-reviewed journals. Even if you don't have to use a peer-reviewed journal, use them, because this is your work. You want to be proud of it, and you want to be using the most valid research that you can. So a peer-reviewed journal means that the person who wrote it, the information was then reviewed by their peers, who would be doctors or professors, people like that, who checked all of their sources thoroughly to make sure that this is not opinion and that this is fact. So once we get in there, right, I have really slow internet, so I brought all of this up already. You're going to pull out, you read your article like you would do, and anything you find interesting, you find an interesting quote, you're going to copy it, and you're going to take it back to your outline that you created, which really have fun with your outlines. Use colors, use pictures. I don't really care how you do them. Don't worry about Roman numerals and things like that. Just do what works for you. And you're going to put your quote smack in to your outline where you think you might use it in the paper. Never feel like you have to then use it there and you can't move it. That's the great thing about an outline. It's not the paper. You can easily rearrange it and move it around. So you're going to find a quote that supports your essay and supports your thesis. So my thesis here is not about medical marijuana. It is to help me remember what I want to talk about in this video. The best way to write an academic essay is to do your research first. Always do your research first, or else you're just going to be writing an opinion essay and then trying desperately to support it, and you're not going to get a great grade. You want your research essays to be based on research. Cite your sources as you go. This is so important. It will save you so much time. You won't end up getting reported to the school for plagiarism. You won't end up being kicked out of school or failing a class or failing an assignment when you accidentally plagiarize. When you take these quotes and you put them in, you want to immediately create your citation. So this is the citation that I use, the citation generator, right in the class, right in the school library over here to create. It gave me the APA. I copied it. I put it straight in to my outline, put the in-text citation there, and I put the reference citation on the bottom here. And now when I go to write my paper, I have that. I have the quote I want to use, and I have the citation there. And this will save you so much time. I can't even tell you how much time this can save you, not having to go back and try to find that information. And having taught at APUS now for about 10 years, I've had so many frantic emails come to me where the student says, I found these great quotes, I put them in my paper, and when I went to create my citations, I can't really find my sources again. I didn't keep my information well enough and I can't find my sources. What do I do? And I say, rewrite your paper. So I never want to say that to another student. If I can avoid ever having to tell a student to rewrite their whole paper because they can't find the information to create their citations, I would love to never have to say that again. So what you want to do is create your citations as you go. It takes a couple of seconds to do it through the school library, but I also want to show you that, let me find the right, here we go. If you're not using the school library or you are, for whatever reason, it's not showing you a citation, just go to APA Citation Wizard or MLA Citation Wizard, whichever format that you're using, and you just pick what you have to pick, web page, which is probably what you're going to use 99% of the time because it's almost 2020 and it probably will be 2020 when most of you are watching this or later. You fill out the information and you make your citation. It'll just create it right there for you, and it'll take you all of a couple of minutes, depending, or not even, depending on how fast you type. See, you would think I'd be great at typing, but I'm really not. So this is our title and our web address. And I'm singing Baby Shark because I have 2 little kids, and then you put citation. So what did that take me? 30 seconds or something like that. And I'm not even great at typing. You copy this. Shush. You put it straight into your, here we go. Oh, but we want to just stay in alphabetical order. Always, right? There we go. And there you go. Except this is wrong. That's interesting. And that's one thing you have to watch out for with citation generators. They're not always going to be right. Oh, actually, it was probably me now that I think about it. Let me see. Let's go back. Did I not read the instructions? Oh, yep, it says author's initials. So look at that. See? Read the instructions. Most of the time when something comes out wrong, it's probably your own fault. And it was my fault there. So you always just want to double check, though, because of that. You could make a mistake. It could make a mistake. I made a mistake. I'm going to leave this in because you guys could just as easily do that. And you always want to double check your citations to make sure that they're correct. But the most important thing to remember is that if your citation is not correct, right? You, like me, you got your kids, they're upstairs screaming. You're like, I have to get this video made. I have to go start Thanksgiving dinner. Things are a little crazy here. And you accidentally type in the author's full name. Your professor's going to see that, right? You've cited it up in your essay. You have it here. You use the full name instead of using the initial. They're going to make a little mark here. They're going to take off 1 point, 2 points at the most on your essay. They're going to tell you don't use the full name. Make sure you just use the initial. And you're going to go, oh, I knew that. That was stupid of me. I should have been more careful. And that's all that's going to happen. But if you don't create these citations in advance, you may forget to cite a source. You may not realize what you've done. It may be completely innocent, and you may get a 0 on the assignment for plagiarism. You may get reported to the school for plagiarism. And if you've done it on more than one occasion, you could actually get kicked out of school for plagiarism. And nobody wants that. We don't want that. You don't want that. Nobody wants that. So cite your sources with integrity. You can make mistakes. If you make mistakes citing sources, you lose a couple of points. I think the harshest rubrics I've ever seen have maybe taken 10 points off from a student for citation mistakes, which could still get you a 90 on the essay. And that's a lot better than a 0. And chances are it's going to be more like 1 or 2 points that you lose for citing something if you don't do it exactly correctly. But like I said, if you use the 21cif.com, that's one of the better citation generators that I've come across. Some of the ones that students use come out very poorly. They're not right at all. This one tends to be a little better than some of the other ones. So I do suggest that this particular one for you guys. Citation Machine is also good, but it's got some problems. So this is the one that I suggest for you guys. double check your citations, maybe do a quick look at Purdue OWL and see if it looks right. But even if you don't do that, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to lose a couple of points, and that's a lot better, I'm checking my time, than getting hit with plagiarism charges. So you put these right into your outline, and you are going to just put at least one quote from each of your supporting points. So you'll use a topic sentence that will directly relate. The best way to write an academic essay is to do your research first. So topic sentence, the best way to write an academic essay is to do your research first. Topic sentence. For your second one, it's important to cite your sources as you go. And the third topic sentence, it's a really great idea when you're writing an academic essay to create an outline, just directly related to your thesis. One quote from each of those ideas that you found in your research, put them right in here. And if you feel like moving things around later on, make sure you move it around in your thesis statement too, so it directly matches. Your quote should never be your first sentence, because that has to be your topic sentence. You want your topic sentence to be in your own words always. Third person, in your own words. Then somewhere in there, use a quote with a signal phrase. So somehow introduce your quote. Use that signal phrase, comma, then put your quote, integrate your quote into the sentence, cite it with an in-text citation, then some more sentences. Do not begin your paragraph with a quote. Do not end your paragraph with a quote. If the last sentence of a paragraph, one paragraph is a quote, fine. If the last sentence of every paragraph is a quote, I think you wrote your essay, you didn't do any research, and then you got a couple quotes and just tagged them on to the end of each paragraph. And that doesn't look good. It doesn't get you the best possible grade. You really want the professor, the reader, to feel as if the paragraph is built around the quote, and you want the paragraph to be built around the quote. So when you have an outline like this that you've created, you did your research, you wrote your thesis statement, you wrote your topic sentences, you found a quote for each topic that you're going to talk about, it'll take you 5 minutes maybe to write each of these paragraphs, because you already have the main information that you need and you know exactly what you're writing about because you have a quote on it. So you write that, you write each paragraph, and then you get down to your conclusion, you restate your thesis in a fresh way. If you watched my 3-part thesis statement video, then you already know that my preferred technique here is to state each of the main points in separate sentences. I just find that this is a really good way to kind of flush out your conclusion. You never want to introduce new information in your conclusion, and you always want every academic paragraph to be a minimum of 5 sentences long. Shoot for 6 or more though, because when you do the minimum work, you get the minimum passing grade. So if you restate your thesis statement in a fresh way, but you make you kind of stretch it out. So, writing an academic essay is not that hard if you follow some simple rules. It's a really good idea to do your research before you start writing, period. Then, it's great to cite your sources as you go. This will avoid any plagiarism issues, period. Make sure you create an outline when you're writing your essay, period. This will help you organize your information when you're writing, period. Something like that. So you're going to have 5 or more sentences. You just break it down, each of those main points from your thesis, and wrap it all up. And that's really how you write the essay. You use a page break to create a new page before you put your sources. You put them in alphabetical order, and you use a hanging indent for anything that goes over to the next line. Just a quick little tip, if you go to indent the second line and it doesn't work, just press enter at the end of this line and then press the tab button and you'll be able to indent it. So that's just a common problem students come across. Use your APA title page or your MLA heading. Look on Purdue OWL if you don't know how to create those. Never submit an essay to a professor without a heading or a title page. Never submit a paper to a professor that isn't saved using your last name, first initial, and then whatever other information they ask for. If I had a penny for every time I got an essay that was just titled Essay 1 or Medical Marijuana or something like that, I swear it's really difficult because a lot of us like to save all of our essays onto our computer and then grade them, and I have no idea who wrote the essay, and that's just going to put me in a bad mood when I start grading your essay. So just save it using your name, and that's how you write an essay.